welcome back to the Blue Jays Today Show, where today, my goodness, the Blue Jays got a comeback win. Let's go, everybody. They put up 8 runs after coming back from a 4-0 deficit. That doesn't happen in today's Blue Jays land, but I mean, hey, it's something to celebrate. But overall, though, they still lost the series to the Angels. So we're going to talk about that series. We're going to talk about what everybody else is talking about online right now, which is, what the hell are the Blue Jays going to do? Are they going to fire somebody? Is it going to be John Schneider? Is it going to be Ross Atkins? Let's dive into that a little bit. And as well, of course, we got to talk about an upcoming move that's going to be happening today. We got a little bit of news from Ben Nicholson-Smith. We'll hear about that a little bit later, and then we'll predict this series for the Seattle Mariners. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to Blue Jays Today. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, and you know what? I'm just happy that we're back in the win column, man. In rather dramatic fashion, might I add, because that game had the potential to be like nail in the coffin. All like, because I was asking people
for John Schneider, you mean? Like nail in the coffin, or just for the season?
Like a lot of things, honestly. Yeah, fair. It would have been full-on panic mode. Not to say that we're not already in panic mode, because we did still just lose the series to frickin' Anaheim Angels over there. I mean, like, that's not a good thing. But last night, the Toronto Blue Jays started off the first inning of the ball game with bases loaded.
Oh God, let's show it.
Single. That's exactly how it went down, right? You get 3 straight singles from the boys, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, this is how we apply the pressure to a starting pitcher. This is how we jump on them. This is how we pick up our pitching staff and go, you know what? We're not going to need to burn through our good bullpen guys today, because we're going to blow it wide the fuck open right here. Strikeout is what followed after that from George Springer, Dalton Varsho, and Alejandro Kirk. Abysmal at-bats from the boys there, and I was in the tank after that one.
Dude, I couldn't do anything but laugh. It was just like, if you wanted a one inning to, capture how the Blue Jays have been playing the last month of baseball, that's the inning right there. And look at the at-bats too. Now we're gonna get to the good stuff. Obviously, they still won this effing game, but this is I'm gonna highlight. Look at the at-bats too. You chase off the plate. I understand you take that one. Maybe I understand that one. That one, you're fouling off. Okay, whatever. 1 and 2. That chasing off the off the plate, strikeout. Dalton Varsho's check swing in the dirt off the plate, blocked by the catcher. That was. Oh my God, I was like, are you effing kidding me? And then, of course, Alejandro Kirk. They actually don't have the at-bat up here, but I can tell you right here, it was a slider off the plate. Good pitch, though, by Soriano.
It wasn't well done.
It was.
It really
that's what I'm saying.
It's like baseball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, going back to what has been the problem is that when we have runners in scoring position, it's like we expand. The pressure's on us. That's not how it should be. The pressure has to be on the opposing pitcher. He just gave up 3 straight singles to start a ball game.
Sweating right now,
and he should be. And you're allowing him back into the counts and striking you out. And that's pathetic.
Now, of course,
but
the game continued. There was still 8.5 more innings of baseball to play. Angels did tack on a couple runs early on. They got 4 very early off of Chris Bassett. Didn't have his best stuff yesterday. Gave up. It was a
lot of hanging curveballs.
Lot of hangers right there. Some hard hit baseballs from those LA Angels. And when it was 4-0, I was on Twitter, and like I said, I was in the tank. Everyone on Blue Jays Twitter was thinking, this is it. John's got to go. Ross, Mark, we don't care about the renovations. We don't care about the extension anymore. It's time to fucking go. However, maybe one of the very few times that we've seen this season, the Toronto Blue Jays offense actually came back from behind, picked up their pitching, who did not have the best day. I mean, 5 runs from our pitching staff. Like, you lose 90% of those games.
For sure, for the Blue Jays.
So they didn't have their best stuff. But the offense came to life. Maybe they checked Twitter after that first inning and realized, holy shit, we gotta pick up our socks, because they did eventually have a big inning, definitely in that 6th right there, giving us the lead.
Yeah, big shout out to Anthony Santander. That was the 2-run single that was again with bases loaded. We finally cashed them in. We got redemption, and we got those guys in, and then as well Dalton Varsho with a phenomenal game. Dude, Dalton Varsho was actually the spark plug we didn't didn't know we needed. 3 hits, including a home run and a sac fly, 3 RBIs, OPS of 1.073. Like, that guy's been phenomenal. Great job for him. Addison Barger getting on the board as well. And yeah, there's that Dylan Varsho homer. So overall, they came back. That's great. But let's also, again, I hate to be a cynic. Let's not also forget they blew the game on Tuesday. They looked like they were going to get a W. They blew that one. They got walked off on Wednesday, it was, against the Angels. So overall, still, the feeling of the series, great last game, but I'm not too happy with the way they've been playing, man.
Yeah, of course. When you zoom out and you look at the entirety of the series here, that last game is definitely what you want to see from the offensive side of things. But you did definitely see, offensive woes in that first game, especially, and various others. But, I mean, the pitching staff kind of took a step back as well, right? Jeff Hoffman, who we thought was invincible, like just literally looked like a pitching robot out there, finally looked like a human being and gave up a couple runs of his own. I think his ERA is now at like the 4.5 mark at this current juncture. Now, obviously, that's not indicative of what I think Jeff Hoffman is worth to this team. I still believe in him. I still think that he's our guy. I still think that when you are in a save situation, he's the dude that you're going to throw out there, no questions asked. But it just goes to show that even him and, of course, Jimmy Garcia very recently as well, they are human beings, and they are going to give up some runs.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that it had to happen during this series. And I honestly do love the quote that John Schneider said about the 3 round wheels and the 1 square one. It always feels like one part of your game is just not working, and it so happened to be the bullpen this series. That was, for the most part of the season, pretty much the strength, that back end of the bullpen. But it wasn't here, so the Blue Jays lose. But now let's turn our attention towards who to blame, because that's what everybody's talking about. I don't want to lose that conversation, because I took to Twitter last night. Actually, this was this morning. Took to Twitter, was asking everybody, so who's to blame? If the Blue Jays season goes awry, they're out of the playoff race, what's a move that has to happen? And I gave trade for impact players as an option, sell at the deadline, of course, fire John Schneider, fire Ross Atkins. The overwhelming, not overwhelming, kind of evened out over time, but still the favorite, 31%, is fire Ross Atkins. And in second place, fire John Schneider at 26.5. What are your thoughts on just everybody's feelings towards needing this to happen? Is it going to change anything, or what?
It's clear that people want moves here. Like,
they want something done.
Just sitting back and twiddling your thumbs and hoping that things get better as the season goes on. Sure, that's a strategy, but not the one that the fan base is looking for. I think that assuredly, if the Toronto Blue Jays do continue to be subpar, then one of those two is going to get fired. There's no way around it, really. Like, they've had more rope than I think anyone in sports should really be given. I thought that, honestly, Ross Atkins and or John Schneider should have been fired after last season, after that whole debacle, right? And there was a lot of people that felt the same way. That obviously did not happen. They gave Ross Atkins the entirety of the offseason. John Schneider was still the guy walking in. They had the utmost confidence in all of this. If this season continues to slip away from them, and let's be very clear, yes, we're third place in the division. I know people have been mentioning that. But we're 17-20, which is the exact same record that the Toronto Blue Jays had last year at this time. So it's like, okay, we're not out of this race.
No,
we're still there. So you could definitely turn this season around. You go on to have a really good month of May. We get ourselves back to 500, maybe 1 or 2 games above 500. Great, we're right there. But this is the same record that we had last season, so obviously there is cause for concern. If it continues going down that rabbit hole, give me John Schneider fired and give me Ross Atkins fired come the offseason.
Yeah, I think offseason, at least for me, if anyone's kind of, I mean, maybe it happens, John Schneider gets fired, this regular season, but, I look at a front office that's had already 2 managers fired underneath them, and it's like a third one. It's like, when do we start pointing the finger at you right now?
Well, but I would argue, though, that, like, if you're Ross Atkins, I think that, and you go this entirety of the season and it still is a failure, like, I think that regardless, you're going to be out of a job.
You're gone.
If John Schneider's here or not here. So I think, realistically, like, the way I look at it is that would be his last-ditch effort to make this a winning ball club, to make this have a winning season. Because if we make playoffs, then he's good. I think, regardless of who the manager
Like
is.
Ross Atkins or John Schneider.
Atkins.
Okay,
Ross
yeah.
If we make
playoffs, he's good. He's fine.
So
if we
it's like,
miss, he's cooked.
If we are like going down the rabbit hole of, oh, we're gonna miss playoffs, I think maybe you just fire John Schneider, hoping that that's your last-ditch Hail Mary that we get, some type of spark plug, and then make a play for playoffs.
Yeah, like potentially, right? And I mean, Ross Atkins too. He's built this roster. He's built this team. And at the end of the day, like I'm gonna mention this on a video coming out tomorrow. Like the players got to fucking play the game. They eventually got to do it. And I'm not gonna be the one out here thinking that like, oh, we fire Ross Atkins, we fire John Schneider, now all of a sudden everything's going to change. I think everybody can agree, like, those moves have nothing to do with changing how the players are going to play. Maybe it kicks them in the ass a little, but it's not going to change at all how they're playing this season. They got to figure it out. But eventually, like, when, push comes to shove and things are boiling up in the fan base, like, are they going to make that move? Now, we have talked to Keegan Matheson about that, but I've asked that guy, like, hey, like, does the front office listen to the fan base at all? Do they care about firing, John Schneider or firing Ross Atkins? Does Rodgers or anybody hear that? And he's like, no, they don't really care. They're going to go about their business and do their thing. So, like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, even though things are kind of boiling up right now, I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon to kind of change the season.
You know what? I kind of disagree. I personally believe that I think that this is a different year than in previous years. And I think that they understand, the top guys I'm talking about, Ross and Mark and whatnot, that they have been given as much rope as they're going to get. I would argue that if this season continues the way that it is going, I think John Schneider is going to get canned. Do I know exactly when that's going to happen? No. It really depends on the results. I thought that if they get swept, or like if they were to have gotten swept by the Angels, I mean, I don't know if it would have happened this morning, but I think that right there alone is a fireable offense. You cannot be getting swept by the Angels. Obviously, that did not transpire. They still lost the series. We'll see what happens with Seattle. But, I mean, I think that if this season's going down the drain, one of the last-ditch effort moves that you have to do to hopefully change the mentality of the clubhouse, change something, right, get a fresh voice in there, is just to get rid of John Schneider and then hope that something gets better.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you'd have to do. Will they do it is what I'm kind of bringing up.
I think they will.
If I don't know.
It comes to that point.
I don't know. I just think Ross Atkins won't do it, or the front office won't do it. I personally think they're going to ride this ship out until the end of the season. Once the season's over and like Mark Shapiro's coming up on a contract, that's when they either make a complete overhaul all at once. Like, that's my idea. Again, we don't know what's going to actually happen, but knowing this front office, they're going to ride this one out to the very end. I mean, they even said, like, we're not selling, we're not doing anything right now. We're going to keep pushing with the guys that we have, player-wise. Maybe they do it as well, staff-wise and personnel-wise.
See, maybe, but even that, I think that I look at that and I go, okay, if you're gonna keep going, if you're gonna keep trying to be competitive, that's even more reason for me to fire him then. If you're not playing well. Right. It's like if you're willing to sell and give up, it's like, okay, fine, yeah, then just ride it out with the guys that you have. But if you're like, actually, we know we gotta win this fucking season, and this guy's not, putting up the results, cut ties, you're gone, get something else going.
Let's talk about that then. Like, John Schneider right now, what for you have you kind of seen of him being like, this is a fireable offense because of something he's doing, or is it just because like the team is being bad, we need someone to blame, John's the guy?
I would argue that, okay, there's, a couple, a handful of bullpen choices, a handful of lineup decisions, everything like that, sure. But I do think it's majority, what are we talking about, prior to the game? What are we talking about post game? How are we motivating our guys? What's the feeling in the room? Whatever it is, maybe it's not working, and maybe we just need some fresh voice in there, is what I would argue. And of course, somebody needs to get blamed for all of this shit. Yeah, and that's gonna be you.
Because that's what it is for me. And like, because I hear what you're saying. Like, oh, we need someone. Like, my mind goes to, we need someone to get in there. We need someone to like motivate these guys. Well, like, you're kind of not bringing anybody externally right now. It'd be somebody internal. So it's like, who would that? With DeMarlo Hale, he's already been there. Don Mattingly's already been there. So for me, it's like, that's where I kind of lean to. It's like, well, what's actually going to happen if you fire him? Like,
I don't know, but I do know what's going to happen if you keep him. I think that's my argument, right? It's like, you don't know what's going to happen if he gets fired. Maybe the team gets even fucking worse. But at that point, who cares? Right? At that point, because, you know, if you're already going down that rabbit hole, you're throwing a Hail Mary and hoping that you get that, like, bump of morale and excitement and, you know, oh shit, there's a fire under our ass. You get that bump for a little while that's going to rally the players, and then they're going to come together and, you know, in adversity, play a lot better. That's what you're hoping, right? Yeah. But I do know, I can promise you, I know what happens if you keep him. Of course, if things continue the way that they're going.
If they continue,
we've seen it before.
If they continue the way they are. But I know there's one move that I know a lot of people would absolutely get behind. It's like Ross Atkins gets on the fucking phone and starts making some goddamn trades. Because let's be honest, what's going to be more impactful on the field? Bringing in actually good players. You know, like that's what it is, right?
Probably, yeah, and having our good players actually be good,
well,
right?
And that's going to make the most difference.
Yeah, you know, we did that. Anthony Santander is that guy. It's May 9th right now. Let's start batting above the Mendoza line. Speaking of, or just wrapping up this whole John Schneider conversation, I'm not the only one that feels like it's a real possibility right now. They actually have odds on this. We found this article. Pittsburgh Pirates just fired their manager, Derek Shelton. So first big managerial firing. He is out. He is gone.
Yeah, he needed to go.
Kind of opened the door right now for all of the other managerial firings. Bud Black, obviously the favorite over there with those Colorado Rockies. He could be leading them to one of the worst seasons of all time.
See, that one right there. Yeah, it's true. The worst season of all time is pretty fireable. But that one right there, it's like, do they even give a shit?
See,
you know what I'm saying?
I actually kind of agree with you. I think it's more about the fact, like,
your worst season of all time.
Yeah, like you might outdo the White Sox, and at that point, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah, and the same goes to number 2 on this list, which is Ron Washington at 350. We just saw. It's like, you don't care. You know, he's retired. You're cool that you're the retirement home of the MLB LA Angels, so you don't really care. But then there's number 3, John Schneider, plus 400. I would say the only team that had like legit hopes of competing on this list, that's the highest team right there. So
yeah, plus 400 for John Schneider to be the next manager fired. Everybody, check that one out. Let us know your thoughts about John Schneider potentially getting fired in the comments down below. Let's transition and talk about some moves that the Toronto Blue Jays might be making actually in the next 12 hours or so. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So this happened. This came out last night from Ben Nicholson-Smith. We obviously know that Andres Gimenez had a bit of an injury 2 nights ago, wasn't in the lineup yesterday, and because of that, they literally didn't have any backup infielder options. So that was like very scary. So Ben's tweet here is quote tweeting, talking about the Gimenez injury, how literally, you know, the results of the MRI are still to be determined. We still don't know what they are yet, so we should be finding that out. Either it's going to be a day-to-day situation, or he could be hitting the IL. So with that being said, because they don't have anybody in the infield, a move must be made. Ben heard that infielder Michael Stefanik is on his way to join the Blue Jays in Seattle today. They're obviously short on infielders. Stefanik is an infielder, so he got pulled from the game mid-game 2 nights ago, and he's on his way. So Michael Stefanik could be on his way. Now, does that mean the MRI is bad? Does it mean the MRI is good? For me, I kind of lean towards bad, because if this guy's already on his way, the Blue Jays must know something's wrong with Gimenez, and there might be a roster move coming soon.
Yeah, that seems like what it is to me, man. You know, I don't think it's anything too serious or bad. You know, Gimenez maybe just like a little 10-day IL type thing, which is gonna suck, because having that guy on the defense is definitely you know, a blow for sure. But quite honestly, like from a lineup standpoint, he was turning into like as much of a dead spot as you could possibly have.
He got a little hot like right before the injury, but yeah, literally everything else.
We were talking bad. Like, you know, Kevin Kiermaier final year with us type bad. Like you cannot be throwing that guy out there every day, even with the Gold Glove defense. It's right. You have eight hitters now.
Right.
Effectively is what it is. So that's what's going on right there with Gimenez. Michael Stefanik, now he was actually like one of the few guys in Buffalo that's playing pretty well. I'm not going to try to sell you on this guy as like, you know, he's going to come in and save the fucking day, but he did have a .319 batting average in AAA and, you know, an .826 OPS. In the majors, he has been pretty horrendous in the short sample size that he has had. He's got a .592 OPS. Granted, we're talking about 233 at-bats here. Anyone can get hot at any time. He's a guy, and he's gonna come up and help.
Dude, this is the story of the Toronto Blue Jays this season. I said this before, like literally earlier this week, and I'll say it again. The Blue Jays can't win ball games if the bottom half of your lineup is a rotation of AAA players. Like, I mean, come on. Like, when are we going to have legitimate big league guys in here? We don't. We never did. We trusted that some guys would break out, and we didn't. I mean, Barger, Lucas, Jimenez, they're putting him right here in Fangraphs. He will not be in the lineup. It might be Stefanik. It might be Ernie Clement, but it's just a rotation right now. And nobody's really doing anything. You're not going to hope that Stefanik's going to do anything. And it's just going to continue to be a tough spot for the Blue Jays lineup. I'm really not expecting anything from this, to be honest. Like, literally nothing.
I mean, like, again, we had 8 hitters when Jimenez was in the lineup. And if he is out of the lineup, we still have 8 hitters with Michael Stefanik joining us. The one good thing is that, you know what? He was pretty hot down there in AAA. Now, I see a decent amount of people in the chat right now talking about this. So, you know what? Let's just bring it up here. A lot of people are like, well, let's go trade for Rafael Devers. That would be great.
No.
Also, quick shout out here to Asia Robertson. Hey, Nick and Adam, are you guys surprised about how your Leafs are doing? Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
They are like, they're kind of blowing me away right now. I'd be like deep in the tank if they were struggling, because also you got the Blue Jays doing bad, but like, Toronto Maple Leafs kind of a fucking wagon right now.
Dude, no one expected them to pounce on the Panthers like that, 2-0, man. Like, legit, like, I don't want to jinx it, but...
No, like, job definitely far from over.
From over, but, like, if we could get a conference fucking, round... Oh my God, that's going to be life to the city again. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Asia, obviously for being a member for 2 months on the channel. But yeah, Rafael Devers... Yeah.
Did you see about this?
No, I did. How he wants to play third, doesn't want to play first, and then did he say he wanted to trade, or some other people were speculating?
So it feels like it is kind of a speculation thing right now. He came out very recently and he said that he's just unwilling to play first base. We got some articles here saying that he calls out the Red Sox GM amid positional dispute. So clearly there is something that's not right with that relationship right now. I guess they came to an agreement that he was going to be the third baseman, and now that they have Bregman, I mean, that's changing things. Clearly, there's obviously something wrong in the club. Like, how do you think Alex Bregman feels about that, right?
I don't even...
Like, if you're Alex Bregman, you're kind of like,
Dude, Alex Bregman's come out and said, like, man, I don't really care. Like, I'll play second, like, or whatever, right? So,
like, you just feel like you're just caught in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, I just came here for the money.
I do, like, kind of. I kind of side with Devers in a sense where it's like, you paid me to be the guy. I am the oldest standing Red Sox here, and like, I'm your best hitter, and you're telling me to go change and kind of fuck me up. He's having still a decent season so far for his standards, but like, you're kind of telling me to go play first, go play third. I don't know.
Actually, yeah, so he came out here, and this is just all leading to people asking about why don't we trade for him, by the way, if you want to know where we're at right now. He said that, I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. Wow. So right now, I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, like, people always say, like, oh, first base, that's so easy. Like, if you haven't played first base, it's kind of tough to pick. Like, mid-season, you're just asking this guy to pick up, like, first base, right? It's not that easy, man, and, like, it isn't. So,
yeah,
I'm
Devers is saying it's like, hey, they put me in this position. I think that they should go do their jobs, essentially, and hit the market and look for another player.
There you go. You go.
But again, which is definitely fair. There is also the entire other argument about all this, though, that Rafael Devers makes $300-odd million, and you know what? Like, you do what we tell you to do, as we're your boss.
Right.
So there's certainly that side of things as well. Personally, guys, for everybody out there wondering about, well, can the Toronto Blue Jays trade for him? Sure, they could. But I just don't see a reality where Boston would remotely give that guy up, especially to a division rival, for anything less than, Guerrero and something.
I'm actually serious when I say this. The Blue Jays have a better chance of winning the World Series this year than trading for Devers. That will never happen.
Yeah.
Never. Seriously.
It would take such an overwhelming sum of prospects and other stuff to.
And first of all, we don't even have the prospects.
No.
So we have no prospects. We have no major league players that they'd actually want. Okay, you want our first baseman of Vladdy? No. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense, right? So no. No.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the few people that it's just we can't even. There's just no reality for me that we'd even be able to entertain that. And also too, you'd have to then convince them because clearly, there's some dispute right here, whatever. They still paid the guy to be their superstar here for a long period of time. I mean, this would be if, in 2 years from now, we're asking Vladdy to play third again and he doesn't want to play third.
Vladdy would never. He'd play third. Oh, yeah. He would play third. He actually literally does.
I guess he does, yeah. But still, that's the scenario. Yeah. And then everyone's they're going to trade him. No, probably
Vladdy,
not.
go play center field, actually.
Okay, that would be fucking wild, bro. Can you imagine that guy trying to run down a ball?
Oh, my God. I would pay to watch that. What the hell?
That would look I think it would just look so...
awkward.
It would look so awkward.
This guy's just jogging. You know, I've never seen this guy sprint in my life.
I think it would make Guerrero look again. It might look like one of the most unathletic versions of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. we've ever seen. I've seen him try to run down a ball in the outfield.
Oh, I know.
Anyways, not going to happen, everybody. They can't trade for Rafael Devers. They could go out and get JD Martinez, which I saw some people in the chat talking about, which might actually not be a terrible move. Will he save the day? Probably not. You're still going to need some other guys to perform well.
Yeah, I think you got to throw shit at the wall until it sticks, everybody. So, yeah, that's where the Blue Jays are kind of at. You should see that move happening a little bit later with Michael Stefanik, maybe Jimenez IL. Keep your eye out for that. Before we continue, guys, with this podcast, we got to give a quick shout out to our friends at Amsterdam Brew House, everybody. This next segment of the Blue Jays Today Show is brought to you by Amsterdam Brew House. 3-speed, hell yeah, great beer. Where the brew house is literally a 5-minute walk away from the Rogers Center. There's lots of Blue Jay fans tailgating pre and post game. So if you don't have any tickets to the game, actually, go check out Amsterdam Brew House. It's on 245 Queens Quay West. They got damn good beer, locally crafted in Toronto. So check it all out on Brewmasters at Amsterdam with their always rotating adventure brews, guys. Shout out to those guys once again for back on the podcast.
Shout out to Amsterdam, folks. They are the best. Might have one or two Amsterdams tonight.
Ooh, yeah, would love that. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, we're gonna be going live for the Seattle game at 9:40. And speaking of which, why don't we predict that Seattle series right about now?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, folks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Seattle's actually been playing out of their skin recently. What is their current record? The last time I checked, they were doing very good.
So they are 22-14. They are leading the AL West. The Athletics, though, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, honestly, shout out to the Athletics for doing.
The Athletics are my mini wagon this year. If the Blue Jays are out, I'm going Athletics. Let's go.
Yeah.
22-14. They're playing great baseball. Look up and down their team rankings. Offensively speaking, top 10 offense, you could argue.
Which is wild because that was never supposed to be their thing.
No.
But they're the long ball's doing great for them. They're ranked 4th in all of MLB with the home runs. Obviously 2nd or 7th, in runs scored, and then 2nd in on base percentage. This is if you're 2nd in on base, and then you also have a bunch of home runs.
Yeah, you're scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah, you're gonna score runs, right? That's just what happens.
And then honestly, it's kind of crazy. The offense has been the best part of their team, but the pitching, which has always been the best part of their team in the past, is about mid right now. I mean, you look at the relief pitchers. It's 11th in ERA and 19th in WHIP. So not striking out a whole lot. Literally last in strikeouts. The starting pitching is right there, smack dab in the middle at average. A mid starting pitcher staff. So let's see if we can go jump on those pitchers, if our offense can try and get cooking while they're down. The first game is against Luis Castillo, 3.29 ERA. He's been starting to cook lately because his ERA was a lot higher the last time we faced him. And we got Kevin Gausman, gives us a chance every time, but it will be a tough matchup. Where are you at right now, Nick? Well, we need Tyler Heineman in the lineup.
Yeah, we do need that. Those
3 for
3
3
at-bats have been phenomenal.
Against Castillo, he's 3 for 3. Let's go.
You know what? A win last night feels like it changes everything. Because now I'm maybe we're that team that scores 8 runs.
Oh, no.
But we're probably not. We're probably closer to the other version of ourselves. So This is a good pitcher. That lineup does damage against us, right? Like, just as much as Tyler Heineman has dummied Castillo. I mean, Raleigh is dummied Kevin Gausman.
3 homers in 9 at-bats against Kevin Gausman. Yeah, dude, my honestly, goodness. Like, bet on that.
Cal Raleigh, by the way, guys, like I made a short on this for our other channel a while ago. Probably the most underrated player in all of baseball. Like, that guy.
Yeah, this year he's going crazy,
going insane mode. The last 2 years, I didn't even realize this, but the last 2 years he's had 30 or more home runs.
Yeah,
and of course he won. Was it the Platinum Glove?
Yeah.
I mean, like, the guy's fucking nuts. So yeah, that guy is gonna do work on us. I think we lose game 1.
Let's see what your lines would be for that, guys. Time for another quick shout out to another sponsor of this Blue Jays Today show.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. Here are the lines for the games, and as you guys can see, Mariners are pretty heavy favorites. 1.66. Like, you don't see them go that low on the favorites too often, Betway.
Especially with 2 good pitchers on the bump.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Right? Like, it's not like we even have a scrub. Like, no, we got Kevin Gausman, and we know that he can cook.
Yeah.
That is probably why they have the under, or the line for over-under set at 7.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Mariners here, and I just like the Mariners here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the big dumper with 3 home runs in basically what would be 3 games against Gausman, and I think he's due for another one. Give me the Mariners, -1.5, 235. Like, I'm that confident they're going to win tonight.
Yeah, that does hurt everybody. We're going to be live for the game later this evening, so if you want to watch together, whether it be a good one or a bad one, then come. We can experience the misery as a group.
That'd be great.
Second game on Saturday, you got Bowden Francis up against Evans. Now, I would anticipate that or expect that this is kind of their Logan Gilbert replacement.
Yeah, it seems like it.
He is out.
Logan Evans, another Logan.
Evans. There you go. Right, I got Logan Gilbert on my fantasy team. Very happy that we do not need to run into him this series, because that guy is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Logan Evans, though, definitely isn't. 23-year-old young kid, not doing that well so far. 7.5 ERA roughly. But then Bowden Francis, he has been struggling recently. This has got to be the offense wins you the game here.
Yeah,
right?
and I am looking up and down this lineup and a lot of other guys, and it doesn't seem like they can really hit Francis. Masterboni is 1 for 2. Polanco Riley 1 for 3. This guy's only had 1 at bat, 1 for 4. Doesn't really seem like they hit him too often. It feels like we gotta win this one. If we're gonna win one, we gotta win.
Also, too, maybe this is the X factor. Leah gonna be at that Saturday's game.
That's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win. That's true, right? Keep in mind. Now, I did actually hear that the takeover isn't as strong this year
with the whole like tariffs and border
like
stuff
a
with
bunch
the
of
States.
stuff. Either way, Leah's gonna be there. She is going to bring the energy. Toronto Blue Jays win this one. I believe in the Bowden Francis bounce back.
Yeah.
Dude. I think that he is a lot better than what that ERA is suggesting. So
yeah, and
like he's gonna cook.
Yeah, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4 bad starts, or actually 3 bad starts in a row.
It's been a handful of bad ones. It's definitely been a handful of bad ones.
I don't think he hasn't had an outing where he hasn't given up a run this year. Okay, it'll be a high scoring game. Bet the over.
High scoring game. Offense comes to life. Logan Evans, whoever the fuck you are, you get cooked. This one though, we are going to lose.
Yes.
Final game. You got Urania on the bump for the Toronto Blue Jays. He actually didn't do horrendously for us.
Yeah, what did he do? Like 4 1/3, 2 earned runs, something like that. I'm pretty sure that was his line.
I think so.
Game logs. I'm pretty sure he did 4 1/3. Yeah, 4 1/3. We were live for that one, and 2 earned runs. I mean, yeah, it wasn't horrible.
It really wasn't the worst. It obviously wasn't enough though, because the Toronto Blue Jays offense just couldn't do enough to win that game. They're going to be up against Miller, who has been fine. Again, not phenomenal. But this to me is where, like, when I'm kind of like, split on this, I look at Urania. I also just look at the fact that they are a better team than us right now, and I have to give the edge to the home team in Seattle. I think that we lose that one, and we lose this series and have a pretty bad week, going 2-4.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a horrendous week. What kind of sucks is like if Bowden could easily not have a bounce back game and we could get swept. Like it's kind of, we're kind of hinging ourselves on and also the offense too. Like,
Well, yeah, regardless, you're going to need the offense to win you a ball game here, just like they did yesterday, right?
Yep.
The offense won us the ball game yesterday. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2025. I need to see that happen again. Right?
Yeah,
against a good pitching squad and against an offense who also hits a lot of home runs. Bowden Francis gives up a lot of home runs.
You know what's crazy, Nick? That's kind of how baseball works.
Kind of how sports in general.
You kind of need to score to win the freaking games.
Yes.
And, my brain's wrapping around to Ross Atkins again.
Yeah.
And run prevention's actually how you win. No, actually, it's how you score. You got to score to freaking win. Anyways, I'm going off the rails. I'll have a video coming about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But either way, Blue Jays 2-4 probably on the week. Maybe a sweep. If that happens, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same place as I was.
Pretty much in the same place. We're down horrendously. We'll just be down further horrendously. But, folks, we're going to be live for today's game. Late one tonight, so stop in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that like button. Smash the subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And, as always,
go Jays, go! Jay Blem saying, sell the franchise.
Oh.